You ready?
You're right.
Good evening, everyone. I welcome you to the June 13th regular board meeting. Call this meeting to order. Andreas, please call the roll. Oh, I'm sorry. Andreas, how are you?
Not me.
CJ, please call the roll.
I'm not ready for that.
Mr. Violi? Here. Mr. Kelly? I'm here. Ms. Bauer?
Present.
Mr. Gibson?
Here.
Mr. Graham?
Here.
Thank you.
Just keep moving to it. Please stand and join us for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And I understand we have no one signed up for public comment tonight. Moving on. Approval of minutes. It is recommended the Board of Education approve the minutes from 5/15/19 as submitted.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, please call for the vote.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Violi?
Yes.
Ms. Bauer?
Yes.
Mr. Gibson?
Yes.
Mr. Graham?
Yes. Motion carries. Number 3, superintendent's superintendent's report.
Thank you, Mr. Grimm. I have a few items. Actually, my report, Mr. Sarcipino, won't be as long as it normally is. First, I would like to, is Randy here? Randy is here. So I'm glad you're here, Randy. I have something exciting to tell the board. Recently, Randy TV Paw threw his hat into the ring he wanted to be elected to the OHSAA state board and for our region, and so he threw his hat into the ring, and he was overwhelmingly elected by his peers, which were fellow ADs and high school principals. I mean, overwhelmingly elected, and this is a huge win and acknowledgement for all the things that Randy does. Randy is one of the most modest people I think I've ever met in my entire life, but Randy is, I would say, is one of the most highly regarded athletic administrators in this region, and that vote proves it. So it's a 6-year term, and he'll be on the OHSA State Board. And I believe he's hosting a meeting here soon, because he and I were talking about places to host that. But this position, one of the big roles, and Randy, chime in if I'm incorrect on this, but one of their big roles is they help determine where regional playoffs are held. And as you guys may know, a lot of our regional playoffs have been toward the Youngstown area, so it's a little bit of a drive. So one of the advantages of having our athletic director administrator on this board is he might be able to nudge some of those contests back towards Streetsboro and make it a little more regional for us. But it is a huge honor. It's a 6-year term, and Randy would never brag or talk about that, so I'm going to do that for him. So I wanted the board and the public to know that Randy was elected to the OHSA State Board for a 6-year term, and I just wanted to publicly congratulate him.
Congratulations. Have you ever had anybody on the OHSAA State Board?
Not to my knowledge, no.
Congratulations.
Where are you going to find the time for this, Mr. TV Paul? I mean, you're here all the time, so.
Did your wife know?
Just now.
Congratulations, Randy. We're proud of you.
And we all echo the statements from Mike. That's for sure. You do a great job, Randy. We appreciate all the hard work you do. A lot of things go unnoticed too. So thanks from all the members of the board.
All right, thank you. So my next item, facilities use. So we all know that facilities use was a very hot topic, and I'm going to just revisit again. Back in March, at the end of March, we did open the track up for public use, and since the end of March, that gate has never been locked. So contrary to some some minor chatter, that's a great way to put it on social media. The track has in fact been open since the third week in March and will continue to be open until the snow flies or if there's a practice on that field. So that has happened. So Randy and I did pitch a facilities use plan to all of you, and we had a mixed reaction from the board. And all of you charged me with going out and finding what some of the rates were of our neighboring districts, what they're doing. And we are all over the board, and not all over you, the board, but all over the board on what the different districts around us do. Some are free, some charge really high prices. It's really all over the place. So after some discussion, we had a scheduling meeting, a facilities meeting involving CJ, Randy, and a few other key people, Andreas. I think, Kevin, Mr. Grimm, what I would like to ask is rather than making a decision tonight regarding facilities, I would like to ask you to assign 2 board members to a board committee. I'll call it board committee on facilities. Randy and I have gathered, along with Sue, my secretary, gathered a lot of data. And we would like to have a meeting with 2 board members, Randy, myself, Andreas, CJ, probably Sue, and maybe a couple other key stakeholders, in order for a board committee, because this is the idea behind a board committee, is you guys tap the people that you want to help make that decision. We'll make a decision as a group then to present back to the board, hoping that because you chose board members to be a part of that group, that you guys will then give the nod for a final decision. I would anticipate a presentation in July with a decision heading into August on use of facilities, costs, rentals, everything. Would that be something this board, and Kevin, would you be open to assigning 2 board members to do a board committee along with Randy and myself and CJ?
Absolutely. I think if anyone's interested, sometime after the meeting tonight, let me know, and whoever's interested, get them involved. I think it's a great idea.
Okay, so we have a ton of data to share, and we're ready to work this through. We've not really denied anyone. We've got a wrestling camp going in full swing over at the annex. We've got cheerleading and other things in some of our buildings. We're working around the cleaning schedules. So we've not closed down our facilities. We're using them the same way that we always have. But my goal will be to present to you some sort of comprehensive facility use plan that we will make as a policy moving forward, and we'll implement that in August. Is that good? I mean, is there any feedback from the rest of the board members?
Seems fine to me. It sounds like we gets everybody involved.
Okay. All right, if any of you guys have any ideas for that committee or the makeup, shoot me an email or give me a call. All right, moving on, you see the words dental van. And so I didn't know this was going on, but Mr. McClellan's not here today. And this is just an outstanding idea. So you can see under the administrative content, Mr. McClellan arranged for a dental van to visit Streetsboro Elementary School, and they actually provided some pretty significant, minor to significant dental care to over 20 of our students at the elementary. And many times people think, Streetsboro, we're a growing community, but they forget that we're 34+% free and reduced lunch. And we also live in a society, as you all know, because we've kind of battled this through the levy cycle, is that we are a society now in general that lives paycheck to paycheck. We make a certain amount of money, we live paycheck to paycheck, and many times dental care falls by the wayside. And maybe people are embarrassed to talk about that, and they only visit a dentist when they have an issue, okay? So Greg and his team had the foresight of inviting a dental van, and they provided free care to over 20 students. And Greg's not here, but I believe there were more students waiting. So he plans on actually replicating this next year and serving some significantly more students. So I wanted the board to hear that. So we actually offered this dental care free of charge to these kids, and they got some dental care that they normally would not have had. And early dental care, I mean, as all of you, your parents, is pretty key to a healthy dental care the rest of your life. When you have those baby teeth, they think, oh, they'll fall out and go away, but it's pretty critical to have proper dental care as a child, because that can affect the teeth that are growing underneath, as also the gums. So they did a nice job with that. So I wanted the board and the community to know that Mr. McClellan and his team over there at Streetsboro Elementary School are not only taking care of the academic needs, but also the medical needs also of their students. So it was a great program. Any questions about that?
That's all. Okay.
Okay, and then my final item is a thank you note, and I go ahead and put it in your content, but I'm going to read it because I think it's worthy to read. So I apologize, I'm going to read the entire letter, Maplewood Career Center, and it says, "Dear Superintendent Dalwell, I'm writing to thank you and the Streetsboro City Schools Board of Education for allowing Maplewood career students to participate in your school's capital improvement projects. While Maplewood Career Center has partnered with other local schools previously to assist or complete a capital improvement project, Streetsboro City Schools has offered our students more opportunities for student growth than we have experienced previously. Streetsboro is the only district that has provided our students with creative opportunities as well as significant capital improvements. In total, 6 Maplewood Career Center programs were involved in the sign project and the 2 concession stand press box projects buildings. Thank you for having confidence in the Maplewood Career Center staff and students to include us, allow us to participate in the creation and planning as necessary, and allow our staff and students to complete projects that they will be able to drive past and tell their children about. In many cases, students who are interested in trade skills do not receive recognition experienced by most academically inclined students. At times, students interested in entering the trade skill field may feel left out because their passion does not lie in academia. In this case, Streetsboro City Schools and you, Board of Education, had confidence in our students, offered them opportunity, allowed them to perform, and recognized their efforts. On behalf of the Maplewood Career Center Board of Education, students, and staff, I thank you and the Streetsboro City Schools Board of Education for the opportunities provided and recognition of our staff and students. We are proud to be a partner of the Streetsboro City Schools. Respectfully submitted, Randy Griffith, Superintendent. And Randy is very proud of what his kids did. I think all of you are very proud of what their kids did. The rocket logo on the side of the high school, the press boxes at both the baseball and softball field. Board, I intend on taking you through a tour of those facilities in August on our board tour. I think you're going to be more than impressed with what you see. But more importantly, I want to thank you personally as your superintendent for allowing me to initiate that project with Randy Griffith and his students. They did an outstanding job. They flew through inspections, very tough inspections from our city, and the facilities are just absolutely amazing. And I actually would like to put a sign up on those press boxes that acknowledges Maplewood Career Center, and I would actually like to list the students on a sign and memorialize that on those press boxes for those students.
That's similar to what we have under the sign at the high school. If you haven't seen the sign at the high school, you should go take a look at it. It's pretty impressive, but those kids will be able to see that for
Yeah, it's a good idea.
So what was really cool while those press boxes were being built, I was out there and I was talking to the kids, and they were Streetsboro kids, and one of the girls, and I can't remember her name, was a female in construction trades, and she was kind of running the show. So Denise, I thought you'd be happy to hear that. We had a female. She was up on the scaffolding telling the guys, "You quit being afraid, get up here on the scaffolding." She was holding boards and hammering nails, and we're starting the generator and using power tools, and the kids built those. I mean, I don't know if any of you were out there and watching that, but the kids built those. Their instructor watched and guided and said, "No, don't do that. You need to do this." But kids built those press boxes, and they're pretty amazing. So I just wanted to let you guys know that Randy and the board over at Maplewood appreciates it. And I'm going to actually frame this letter and hang it at the high school, and also I'm hanging it in my office too, because I think it's a nice acknowledgement of what they
They
did.
did multiple trades on those press boxes. They did all the electrical, all of the carpentry work on it, the siding work. So I mean, those kids had a lot of good experience doing that.
They never
They
worked.
did a great job.
Yeah, we did.
They never worked with metal, and we did the metal siding. That was new to them as well. They did a nice job.
They have to meet there's no special treatment for them because they're students. They have to meet the same standards as any professional contractor does.
It's funny, I asked them what was the biggest challenge of that project, and they all said coming out here when it was 20 degrees with a 24. And their instructor was like, "That's what you're going to do in the real world." Like, "Yeah, we know, but we don't have to do this in high school." And, so they were happy when it was finally warm out and they could finish the project. And they all echoed what Randy said. They just really cool to be able to drive by here, show our kids that, hey, we built these, because these press boxes, they're going to be here in 20, 30 years. That's how well we built them, and they did. They're nice.
Sometimes they're longer than 30 years.
If a tornado went through there, they would still be standing as stout as they are. So I wanted you guys to see that letter and hear from Mr. Griffith.
Very nice.
Okay, that concludes my report, Mr. President.
I mean, thank you. moving on to, well, before we move on, I just wanted to acknowledge Bob Long here tonight. Sorry, I'm still on vacation mode, so we all good?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right, moving on to the treasurer's report, Mr. Scarsapino.
Thank you, Mr. Grill. In front of you, you have an Excel spreadsheet that gives you a 3-year look at the fiscal history of our general fund. As of April 30th, 2019, the general fund had a balance of $5,116,954.58. In April of 2018, the general fund had a balance of $5,964,007.12. That's a difference of $847,052.54. So still trending in that downward direction, but with the help of the levy and things like that, once we start collecting on that, we'll start hopefully moving back the way that we would like to. Also, I have one other note. This is just a reminder to any and all public officials or anyone trying to get any sort of issues on a ballot in November. August 7th is the date that all paperwork is due to the Portage County Board of Elections for anyone or any issue that's going on the November ballot. August 7th.
Mr. Crispin, I don't see any storm clouds or sun or things like that on your report. Did you forget that?
Forgot that tonight. I saw how short yours was, so I knew I better bring my A game. That concludes my report, Mr. Graham.
Let's stretch it out a little bit more. Did you want to discuss the fiscal year end meeting yet?
Oh, you can if you'd like to.
That is scheduled for June 27th at 6 p.m. Did you?
Yeah, if you guys would like to keep it at that time, we can. It's going to be a very, very quick meeting. If you'd like to meet in the morning, I know Mr. Violi expressed that he may not be able to attend in the evening that day. So we could move it the day before if you'd like. In the morning, we can move it. I'm flexible. It's going to be a very quick meeting. Oh, wait, Mr. Dalwell's raising his hand.
We're gonna have some personnel hiring on that agenda as well, so.
I will have a board meeting for my work on that same night. It starts at 7.
So do we want to move it then to the 26th, or we could do the morning of the 27th?
I can't make mornings right now.
Okay, so
I could be in Solomon 7 or 8.
If we need to move it to the day before, I'm open.
26th, is everyone open 26th?
Is there a time that works for everybody? Do you want to keep it at 6, or do you want to move it earlier or later, or?
Do you want to have it here, or do you want to do the treasurer's office or my office? Just keep it here? Doesn't matter.
My end's going to take 10 minutes, if that.
Do you want to do the treasurer's office?
You can do it at the tech house, that's fine.
How we can divide some pizza or dinner or something like that?
Can we do that? No, not a problem. I'll take that out of the superintendent's funds.
Quick. The earliest we can do it. Earlier. Earlier. Just bring
Earlier.
it. If not, it's okay.
Kevin, Brian, Denise, can you
Everybody
get
get
it rolling
earlier.
at 6?
What time do you?
Can you guys do 5 o'clock on Wednesday, the 26th?
Just because I'm thinking of you guys, just so we can get more.
I appreciate that.
We live a lot closer than you guys do.
So we want to move that then to Wednesday,
5 o'clock.
the 26th at 5 p.m., the fiscal meeting? Okay, I'll get notice down for that.
And then we're going to do it at the treasurer's office.
At the tech house.
I'll send out an invite to all the board right now.
And you said you're providing the refreshments?
Mr. Galvin,
I'll bring pizza.
because his section's going to take longer than mine, I guess now.
Hey, I'll text you my recommendation.
Toka has been carried out.
I'll let you turn this on, they see that every time.
They do a nice stir fry way.
Mr. Galvin, I will help provide with you.
You know what we can do? Those nice carrot hot dogs that your wife makes.
Oh, boy, I hope she's watching.
I'm not the one that's still up there.
I hear they're delicious.
They don't sound good to me at all.
I heard
Carrots and hot dogs, no.
it's time for board reports. All right. All right, we'll move that to the 26th. Thank you.
I just sent all of you an invite.
Thanks.
Really, thanks.
All right, time for board reports. Mrs. Beth.
So for the legislative report, I don't know if you all got it, but I got call to action yesterday from Ohio school boards with regard to the Academic Distress Commission. Apparently, so Senator Peggy Lander's office put out a proposal regarding the Academic Distress Commission, and that proposal was supposed to have a hearing today. I did call Senator Eklund's office, our senator, to let him know that the proposal was very complicated and it was more of a one-size-fits-all solution. And I encouraged him to support the House Bill 154, which is the language which is in the current budget bill. And as you all know, the Ohio legislature is hopefully trying to correct the issue with House Bill 70 was passed a couple of years ago, which basically strips school boards of any authority over their school districts if they fell under the purview of the Academic Distress Commission. So it's happened in Youngstown. Their school board doesn't have any say. They have a czar appointed, which can hire, fire, break contracts, do whatever they feel is necessary. Then Lorraine was next, and then I think it was East Cleveland City Schools, and there are other school districts that are in danger of falling under this Academic Distress Commission, which takes away the voice of the community members through their elected school boards. So that's something that we need to pay attention to. And like I said, the hearing was scheduled today on this latest proposal. I don't know how that turned out, but we all need to keep an eye on it. That's it.
Thank you, Mrs. Bama. Mr. Gibson.
I have nothing right now.
And I have no report tonight either. Mr. Kelly.
Not much going on in the world of athletics, but a lot of summer programs going on. A lot of the high school baseball kids are playing, summer baseball and wrestling youth camps, and a lot of youth stuff going on. So I'm sure you'll see the football youth going on here pretty soon right now in the school area. So not much. Good.
Thank you. Mr. Violi.
Thank you, Mr. Dalbaugh, for bringing up the letter from Maplewood. Maplewood's out right now, so there's not a whole lot going on. We did get a chance to go to their lunch, though, their last hurrah at the Maplewood.
Don't tell anyone.
Restaurant. They had every grilling meat available for, was it $12 a person, and as much as you could eat, and it was awesome. But looking forward to that. And next year we'll send the menus out to you. So I know.
Great, thank you very much. Moving on to consent agenda. It is recommended the Board of Education approve the consent agenda items B through P.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. For discussion, I'd like to start by saying, as soon as it pops up, thank you to everyone that made donations. There was a few that I wanted to call out specifically. We had some students that donated books to the Denver Library, and the PTA, an anonymous donor donated $160 to the food service department for meals for needy children, and the PTA, which does so much for the district, donated over $400 to the Denver Principal Fund for various needs. And then there's several others on there as well. So thank you to everyone.
Mr. Goodman, you too.
Yes.
So I'd like to publicly acknowledge the last item under donations, Playtech, which is a company here in Streetsboro. They graciously donated $820 worth of material towards our safety program, and have invited some members from our district, along with board members that would want to attend a tour their facility. So I'm working on arranging that, but I called and we talked. I was able to talk to the CFO and the CEO of that organization, and they are excited about everything that the school district has done to keep students and staff safe. So I did want to publicly acknowledge them, and it was a significant donation, and we'll talk more about that later in executive session, because some of those are safety sensitive items that we can do.
And it's always nice when businesses partner with the school district for different things.
And then one other item. So let's move down under, this is going to be difficult. Let's move down under resignations. I want to talk about two. Let's start with Mr. Newman, our assistant principal at the high school, and then Aaron is resigning effective July 31st, but as the board knows, I want to publicly announce that, Aaron has made a decision that, I truly admire Aaron because he was courted and offered a job back in his hometown of Steubenville, and his wife Amy lives, she is actually from across the river in Weirton, West Virginia. And this is a good move for him because little Nash is, I think, Jamie's in first grade, finishing going into going to second grade. And what would often happen, is Aaron would have to run out of here because Amy and Carly, his older daughter, was at a career center and would go right to a job. And Aaron was really just struggled with having to run out of high school, running home to get Nash off the bus, and then sometimes coming back to Streetsboro. And Aaron had the intentions of building a house here in Streetsboro. He loves Streetsboro. He loves the community, the staff. He loves the board. But he was made an offer he couldn't refuse. And his parents and family, all his family live in Steubenville, and they made him a nice offer of a job at Steubenville High School. I would say it's a promotion, a lateral or promotion. But what's really cool about this is his mom is a retired teacher, I believe, and she's gonna be able to get Nash off the bus every day and work with him on his homework, and Nash is gonna be with grandma and grandpa every day, and Amy's gonna get to be close to her family. So I think Aaron, while his heart is here, he understands that this is a great opportunity for his family. So my hat's off to Aaron Newman because he's making a decision. It's a decision that he acknowledges is a great opportunity for him, but this man is making the decision that's best for his family. And so I wanted to publicly thank Aaron. He made a tremendous impact on this district in the 3 years that he was here, both student, staff, and community, and he's going to be missed. So Aaron, I know he's not here. I gave him the nod not to come tonight, but again, let's give Aaron a round of applause. Mrs. Curtis, Superintendent Curtis, can you please stand up really quick? So Ariane does not like to be in the limelight. Come on, Ariane, indulge us a little bit. So Ariane, when you guys gave me the opportunity to be superintendent, we had a lot of work to do. And Ariane was my first hire, and Ariane and I have been together since 2013, and we've tackled a lot together. And she is probably the most intelligent person I know. She is the only person that can look at me, aside from worry, and tell me, Mike, that's a stupid decision. What are you thinking? We need to look at it a different way. She thinks outside of the box. She has more integrity, I think, than anyone I've ever met in my entire life. And when Lyndon called me and asked me about her, I said, it's a no-brainer choice. I mean, I could walk out of here tomorrow, and if you guys chose to make her superintendent here, she'd take this place. I never took it. I mean, she's that good. And I think that she's going to take Wyndham places they never dreamed they would go. And I'm excited because what she presents to them is a highly competent female leader. I think that the females in this society, they sadly don't get the same opportunity as men, and they have to work harder to get those. And I think what Ariane brings to the table is a strong female leader with a mountain of integrity, intelligence, vision, and foresight. And I think that she's going to take that community places they never dreamed they would go. So I wanted to publicly thank Ariane and wish her luck.
Mike, in my personal opinion, there's some good reasons why people resign. And one big one is for family, the other one is for a professional career move, which I'm sure Ariane's also got some family reasons for leaving as well. There's opportunities that come with moving up. So congratulations to Aaron and Ariane both for advancing your careers, and we're going to miss you, but we know you're real close. We have to drive a little bit to get there, but congratulations.
Good luck. We'll miss you.
If there's no other discussion on the consent agenda, please call for the vote.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Mrs. Fallon?
Yes.
Mr. Grimm?
Yes.
Mr. Gibson?
Yes.
Mr. Beal?
Yes.
Motion carries. Moving on to superintendent's recommendations.
I have a few. Item A, it is recommended the Board of Education approve the following resolution to withdraw from the Portage Trail Conference to form a new league at the end of the 2019-2020 school year.
I'll second.
Been moved and properly seconded. Any discussion?
Just quickly, I've tried to keep you guys informed throughout this, but, we did decide as a group, the PTC Metro, that would include Cloverleaf, Coventry Field, Norton, Ravenna, Springfield, Woodridge, and of course, Streetsboro. And this will not have an impact really on what we do as far as league play, because when PTC Metro and PTC County, we only really competed in contests that like golf, volleyball at times, bowling, but we were different size schools. But we really felt compelled as the PTC Metro to create a student leadership-based league. And we really felt that we could only do that with the size of 8 that you see. And, an example I want to give is when Randy became athletic administrator in the district, one of the things he had proposed to the entire PTC league was, let's do a student-based athletic league. And he had this idea of let's identify student athletes that are also student leaders in our district, and let's do activities in the school together as a group, but it's outside of athletics. And also maybe the day of contest, host a barbecue prior to the game for our student leaders and the students from both schools, to get them together to say this is not just about competition, but this is about leadership, this is about athletics, this is about camaraderie, to create a different flavor, if you will, rather than we're all there, and Streetsboro's in their gear and the opposing schools in their gear, and we're there to fight against each other and win. Sometimes there's some disagreements and fights in the parking lot. We need to flip that and turn this into a leadership-based opportunity for our students. It creates opportunities for role modeling. So we really felt as a PTC Metro that we'd be able to achieve that in a smaller atmosphere. So we've already withdrawn from league. We sent our letter to withdrawal, and all the schools in the PTC Metro are passing this resolution to give board acknowledgement of this. And we're already in the process of hiring a commissioner, which one of the challenges have been in the recent years is many times, and Randy can probably speak to this better, and I think some of you board members have heard this before, but many times we didn't know who our officials were for contests till sometimes the night before, the day of, and officials should be scheduled almost 2 years in advance. So it becomes challenging when you're trying to find officials at the last minute. Many times our schedules, again, it was a challenge, our schedules weren't done until the last minute. And so we want to create a league where we have a commissioner that takes that responsibility off of our athletic administrators. They do all of the scheduling years out. They actually evaluate our officials. They meet with officials at halftime and say, hey, this is what I saw during the first half of this contest. Maybe we need to tighten that up. They can identify officials that are our Blue Star officials, get them linked to a contest. But more importantly, to take the focus back to kids. So we are knee deep in this. Our intent is to finish this 1920 school year in the PTC conference, and then we'll form a new league the following year. I will have a name for you at the next board meeting, the name of our new league. Hopefully I'll have the name of who our commissioner will be in charge of the league that will do all of our scheduling. And then I know Randy is already on one of the committees to begin looking at new bylaws. And we actually already have a leadership conference scheduled at Cloverleaf in September for our student leaders from the high school. Mr. Hogue and Mr. Tiefenpaul are working to identify not just student athlete leaders, but student leaders in high school to attend a leadership conference. And our intent is to do that every year and rotate it among the districts and create more activities. Randy already does a captain's council. They volunteer in the community. They work at the food camps, pantry. They visit Rainbow Baby and Children. They do tons of activities. They play volleyball with the senior citizens. They do all kinds of leadership, community-based. Now we're going to extend that into the league, and I'm real excited about this. So that's what this resolution is about. Are there any questions from any of you, comments?
At the end of next school year.
At the end of next school year, yes.
Second. I think so.
Okay, so I will keep you guys informed as this progresses, but it's already in motion, but this nod of acknowledgement from all of you will mean a lot then to the league as we move forward.
We have a motion in a second, correct?
Correct.
Please call for the vote.
Mr. Kelly.
Yes.
Mrs. Bella.
Yes.
Mr. Grimm.
Yes.
Mr. Gibson.
Yes.
Mr. Beal.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item B, it is recommended the Board of Education approve the resolution submitting to the electors of the Streetsboro City School District the question of renewal of all existing levy for the purpose of current expenses pursuant to sections 5705.21 and 5705.25 of the revised code.
I'll move.
Second.
Been moved and properly seconded. Discussion?
So this, CJ jump in, but this, we have to, you may recall from all of our previous levies, we do have 2 renewals on the ballot in November. This is our first attempt. So this is the first step. We have to do a resolution of necessity, and then next month we'll do a resolution of receipt. Those are the 2 steps that have to be in place before August 7th.
Call for the vote.
Mr. Violi?
Yes.
Mrs. Battle?
Yes.
Mr. Grimm?
Yes.
Mr. Gibson?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes. Motion carries.
So item C, renewal of the 3.9 mil levy. It is recommended the Board of Education approve the following resolutions submitting to the electors of the Streetsboro City School District the question of renewal of an existing levy for the purpose of current expenses pursuant to sections 5705.21, 5705.25 of the revised code.
I'll move.
Second.
Been moved and seconded twice. Any discussion?
This is the resolution of necessity for the 3.9 mil renewal levy.
And just a reminder, these are both renewals, not new.
Correct. That's sure gonna need to be
Look straight in the camera and say it's a
communicated a
renewal.
lot.
Renewals, and when we went out for our new levy that was just passed, we included that we knew these renewals were gonna get up, that money was factored into that number, so we do need these renewals. This is not new money, this is renewals. The 3.5 mil will approximately generate about 1.5 million, the 3.9 mil will approximately generate about 1.7 million. I shouldn't say it is generating, right? Well, it is, yes, it is generating currently. So we're looking at a total revenue of 3.2.
Any other discussion? Call for the vote.
Mrs. Battle?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Grimm?
Yes.
Mr. Gibson?
Yes.
Mr. Violi?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item D, it is recommended the Board of Education approve the attached memorandum of understanding between the Streetsboro School Board of Education and the Streetsboro Education Association for the 2019-20 school year.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Just quickly, we have an opportunity to kind of revamp our high school choir program. And Mrs. Beth Hepper, which all of you know and love, she's one of probably the most, I would say, endeared educators in our district. She's well known all over the world. Kid you not, she's right now, I think, in Singapore or somewhere teaching. But she agreed on her own to start her day at the high school and co-teach high school with our new teacher that we hired tonight on the consent agenda, and then take her day back to Denver because she really felt like she's in charge of building that foundation program in music, and it's new choir and instrumental, building the foundations, and she wants to get those kids back to the high school and get a choir. The choir is plural, and rebuild that high school choir program. And so this MOU, she doesn't want extra money. So she says, hey, you'll owe me an hour of the day. So during the middle of the day, just give me an hour for me to do what I want to do. I don't want extra money. So she's taking her time and extending her day on her own. And she's asking this board to approve a MOU with the union so that she can just take an hour off during the day for her own rather than taking compensation.
And I can tell you that there's people in the community that were already talking about this over the last few weeks, saying, did you hear this? She's moving to the high school. She's going to be up there. This is so exciting. So,
Was there some, I want to say some kids that enrolled back into the choir because they heard she was coming. I just want to make sure that I'm hearing that.
You have heard that correctly. We're excited. Ross Downing, the young gentleman that we hired to do the middle school choir and then co-teach with her at the high school. He's a young man with unbelievable talent on every musical instrument you can think of. His probably specialty is the guitar and also voice. He's a young guy. He looks like a kid. He talked a lot about helping that young boy transition through their changing of voice and getting them to love choir as their voice is changing and helping them. And he's excited about creating a show choir, a contemporary choir, and really building a music program. You know, the school district our size should have multiple choirs. And and he's excited. He was like a school kid actually. When he heard he was going to get to co-teach and work with Mrs. Hepburn. Everyone knows Mrs. Hepburn in the music world, and as you guys know, she taught at Kent State this year and basically rewrote Kent State's music program this year for them as part of her PhD, and that's what she's traveling all over the world doing, is rewriting music programs. And so he's excited to have her as a mentor. So we believe the combination of the two over the next couple of years will really build the choir program back up.
Forward to it. Mr. Scarpino, please call for the vote.
Mr. Grimm?
Yes.
Mr. Violi?
Yes.
Mrs. Babel?
Yes.
Mr. Gibson?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly?
Absolutely. Motion carries.
Okay, my final item, item E, is recommended the Board of Education employ Julie Taylor as high school assistant principal, 214 days at the salary of $75,000 plus other administrative benefits, effective August 1st, 2019 through July 31st, 2021.
Second?
Been moved and properly seconded. Any discussion?
Yes, Julie, would you please stand up? So Julie is here with us tonight. Julie comes to us from Madison Local Schools. She is an assistant principal there. And prior to that, she was at Maple Heights. Now get this, she was at Maple Heights as a high school algebra teacher, health teacher, and she also was the head basketball coach, and we also had a softball coach, assistant softball coach. She loves that. She told me during the interview that, I told her that I'm going to expect my administrators all to take turn being at events this next year to show presence, wear our gear, and she's, I'm going to be at every one of the basketball games, and so she's really excited about that. But something I wanted the board to know when we call references, I don't know that I've ever had a superintendent say the things that her superintendent said about her, but one of the things she said, Mike, she said, Julie is going to be sitting in your chair and my chair in a very short period of time. She is a superstar. She's the real deal. She said, I've never seen a young administrator so committed to doing what's best for kids. And she gave me an example, and obviously we'll talk about that publicly. She gave me an example of where she said it is so completely rare for a young administrator to go to the length that Julie did to help out a student in her school that was experiencing, I'm talking a major significant life crisis. And her superintendent, I didn't talk for 20 minutes. She talked to me about Julie and said that the only thing that she asked that I do is allow Julie to attend her administrative treatment on Monday and Tuesday. But she said this was going to be a huge loss to Madison School. So I would like to welcome Julie and welcome to Streetsboro.
Call for the vote, please.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Mrs. Babel?
Yes.
Mr. Grimm?
Yes.
Mr. Gibson?
Yes.
Mr. Violi?
Yes.
Motion carries.
That concludes my.
Thank you. Moving on to treasurer's recommendations.
Thank you, Mr. Grimm. It is recommended the Board of Education approve a fund-to-fund transfer of $4,971.34 from 200-9417 class of 2017 and $2,658.71 from 200-9418 class of 2018 to the 200-9614 high school student council fund.
I'll move.
I'll second. Any discussion?
Just some cleanup. Those accounts typically go into the student council fund once they pass through.
Okay, call for the vote, please.
Mr. Violi?
Yes.
Mr. Grimm?
Yes.
Mrs. Babel?
Yes.
Mr. Gibson?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Motion carries.
And then I have one other one. It is recommended the Board of Education approve the renewal of the district's insurance policy through the Ohio Schools Plan for the 2019-2020 school year at the cost of $126,738.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Is this going up or down significantly?
Yeah, so it fluctuates typically from year to year. We cleaned up some of our assets that we no longer have on some of the lists to get the truest picture of items that we have. But we also took some additional coverage. For example, the violence coverage, we went from $1 million to $2 million. It was only $124 more to do so. Mike and I sat down and discussed that we felt that that was the right move to do for this district. After sitting down with our insurance agent, Patrick Hickey, numerous conversations with him about it. We also upped our excess crime from 500,000 to $1 million. And that was a cost of a difference of about $719. But for that much more coverage, we felt that that was, especially given the climate of what's going on out there right now, and cyber attacks and things like that. So we want to make sure we're best protected.
Call for the vote, please.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Viola?
Yes.
Mr. Grimm?
Yes.
Mrs. Babbitt?
Yes.
Mr. Gibson?
Yes.
That concludes my recommendation.
Motion carries, and thank you. Any new business? Any old business? Hearing none, moving on to item 9, Board President's recommendations. It is recommended the Board of Education enter into executive session to consider the employment, compensation, and discipline with respect to a public employee or official, and to consider details relative to security arrangements and emergency response protocols for a public body or a public office with possible action to follow.
I'll move.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, call for the vote.
Mrs. Babbitt?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Grimm?
Yes,
Mr. Gibson?
Yes.
Mr. Viola?
Yes.
we are in executive session at 6:45 PM. Thank you to everyone who's here.